is the sentence of God. But if your dream still lives, if that castle still gleams just as brightly in your eyes, then it is your obligation to lay the stones that surround you now. Let us begin the chant of offering. Stray from the path, and you will not be granted the black wings that will carry you to the heavens. Fate has set you free from human reason, and by providence, embrace your inner evil. Now stand and face your future.
What are dreams? Dreams define us, often shaping our identity as well as our choices. Whether we are fully aware of them or not, a dream is a goal, a desire, something we seek to attain, sometimes even a hidden aspiration. Regardless of who we are, where we come from, or how old we are, we all harbor dreams. Be they grand or modest, tangible or abstract, these dreams can take many forms: status, power, ideology, or personal fulfillment. The possibilities are endless, and so too is our capacity for desire. But how hard should one work to achieve these dreams? Are they peaks we may never reach, forever out of our grasp, or are they attainable with perseverance and opportunity? Some dedicate their entire lives to a dream, only to find it perpetually out of reach. A harsh reality often reveals that what we desire most may crumble before our eyes, forcing us to confront the bitter truth of unattainable aspirations. When faced with a dream that you can no longer obtain, what would you live for? Could you even live without a dream? What sacrifices would you make to pursue it? Can this pursuit involve others? What would you be willing to lose to gain your ultimate desire? Or to get a second chance at attaining what you lost? Did those sacrifices ever matter? Or were they merely means to an end? Stepping stones in your path to greatness. How do you determine the value of a dream? This is a central question in Berserk, posed not only to its readers, but also to its characters. Now, Berserk is a manga that needs no introduction. This series, and even this topic, have been discussed extensively, but Berserk is so rich and interpretive that it's hard not to throw my hat into the ring. This question of the inherent value of our dreams is primarily asked to Griffith, the main antagonist, whose singular aspiration is to obtain a kingdom of his own. Every relationship he forms, every decision he makes, and every word he utters is a calculated move towards the fulfillment of his dream. From the moment he is introduced to the moment of his betrayal, Griffith lives for the sake of achieving his dream. Griffith's relentless pursuit raises questions about ambition and the cost of our dreams. It can be argued that his dream is not just about power. It reflects a deep-seated need for recognition and validation, that the things he has built up towards amounted to something. This ambition sets him on a path that ultimately leads to a betrayal for the sake of his own desire, highlighting the moral complexities of striving for the completion of one's dreams at any cost. Griffith embodies ambition and the pursuit of grand dreams. His vision of creating a kingdom illustrates a more utilitarian view of desire, where personal sacrifices are justified for the sake of achieving your goals. Griffith, even before his moment of betrayal, is shown to do morally questionable things for the sake of his dream. We understand that Griffith values the completion of his goal. He is not a man who can be content with just dreaming. An important scene that defines Griffith's character is when he talks to Princess Charlotte about dreams. He says that those who do not dream are dead, and that for someone to be his friend and not just a comrade, they must stand against him in the pursuit of their own dream. While it is difficult to determine whether Griffith meant this, or if he was just buttering up Princess Charlotte and telling her what she wanted to hear, it does introduce an interesting idea about the effect dreams have on our self-worth. That if you live for someone else's dream and not your own, your existence has less meaning. That not pursuing your dream inherently gives your aspirations less value than someone else's. Guts, who has overheard this conversation, considers what his dreams are and what he wants in life. He thought of Griffith as a friend, but he questions if Griffith sees him that way. After all, Guts is a man with no dream, a man who has spent his life simply trying to survive, fighting for no other reason than the fact that he doesn't want to die. Amidst the Band of the Hawk, Guts feels out of place. Each member of the team are people with dreams of their own, dreams that they have put aside to aid Griffith in his quest for greatness. Guts decides that he has no place here. He is simply a wanderer who enjoyed the comfort and warmth of his comrades' dreams. In order to be someone worthy of Griffith's friendship, Guts concludes he must leave in order to find his own dream, and to be someone Griffith can consider a friend and an equal. Griffith refuses to let go of him easily, and just like when they first met, duels him for his freedom. Guts is victorious with just a single strike, and Griffith is left in shock as he silently walks away. Griffith's intense emotional reaction to Guts leaving the Band of the Hawk is something that has always been up to interpretation as far as how he truly viewed Guts. Some say Griffith did value Guts as a friend and saw him as an equal, but others say he was sent spiraling in despair because a pivotal tool to his quest for a kingdom would defy him and defeat him. Maybe the very thing he told Charlotte about his friend being an equal is a complete lie, and that Griffith's friends are people who are subservient to him, not people who could be a so-called equal. Personally, I have always seen Griffith as someone who views people as belongings, and if he did see Guts as a friend, it was a twisted view of friendship. Griffith is a character who measured the worth of people and things based upon how much they propelled him to his dream. And I always questioned if he had the emotional maturity to even believe anything was equal to him in his dream, if he was mature enough to view relationships as anything more than means to an end. His breakdown is a result of his loss of control, his inability to take control of his desire and get what he wants. He seeks out Princess Charlotte as a means to regain that control. But it's hard to determine Griffith's real personality amidst the amount of facades he's willing to put on. So take my interpretation with a grain of salt. Regardless, his intense emotional response leads him to making a poor decision that gets him captured and tortured for an extensive period of time. When Guts and the other Hawks rescue him, Griffith is a husk of his former self, a physically and mentally unstable man who can no longer speak or act for himself. All he can do is observe and be a bystander. He watches Guts, and his disdain grows. Had he never defied his dream, had he never stood against him, he could have claimed what was rightfully his. Griffith attempts to picture a life without his dream, a life where someone takes care of him and he must live with the fact that those around him can pursue and achieve their dreams. He must accept that his desire crumbled in front of him, and he fell off the mountain when he was nearly at the peak. Can he sit by and live without a dream? Can he live his life as a bystander with no agency? To a man like Griffith, that is worse than death. In that moment, Griffith chooses death and nearly kills himself, and in his absolute despair comes across the Behelit he was once in possession of, and he activates it, initiating the Eclipse, one of the most terrifying, gut-wrenching, and raw events I have ever witnessed in fiction. During the Eclipse, Guts and the Band of the Hawk are left fighting for their lives against absolute hell, while Griffith is confronted by the God Hand. Griffith is shown that his dream is still within reach if it is what he truly desires. All he must do is give up everyone and sacrifice his comrades, people who have dedicated themselves to his cause. Griffith, given the opportunity to reclaim his dream, decides to give in to this influence and sacrifice the Band of the Hawk for the sake of achieving his desire. Griffith and his dream are reborn, both figuratively and literally. Griffith's transformation into the demon Femto and the Eclipse as a whole represents the ultimate corruption of dreams. The idea that your own desires supersede the lives of others. The idea that the completion of your dream is more important than the journey and struggle you face to attain it. The idea that fulfilling your dream matters more than even your own humanity. To Griffith, the value of your dream is the ability to fulfill it. His dream is meaningless if he cannot achieve it. So when the God Hand offers him the power to fulfill his destiny, he accepts it at everyone else's expense. no longer a man, but a demonic vessel with the sole purpose of achieving his dream. His final act of humanity is not one of regret or sorrow for what he gave up, but is the violation of Casca as a way to get back at Guts, the man he blames for nearly tearing down his dream, the man who defied him, the man who pursued his own desires instead of propelling Griffith towards his own. Femto embodies valuing the fulfillment of your dream above all else, more than your comrades, more than your actions, and more than yourself. In contrast, Guts embodies a different relationship with dreams. His dream is not about attaining a specific goal, but about carving out a path for himself, symbolized by his desire to be free from the influence of others, particularly Griffith. This reflects a more intrinsic value in pursuing one's desires despite the overwhelming odds. Unlike Griffith, Guts' journey challenges the notion of what it means to dream. His struggles force him to confront the impact of Griffith's ambitions on his own life, as well as the lives of those around him. Guts initially follows a path of destruction and the pursuit of revenge, and during the Lost Children arc, nearly loses his own humanity much like Griffith does. But he is able to realize that he lost sight of what actually mattered to him, and he understands that the path he is on is destroying himself and the people he cares for, even if it may lead him to what he wants. He is able to let go of his revenge in pursuit of something else more internally valuable. Guts is able to shape his desires based on the status of his life and the world around him, opposite from Griffith's narrow-minded desire for a singular dream. Guts' dream is ever-changing, and it evolves as he learns new things and meets new people. At first, he fights merely to survive, but over time, his motivations shift. He seeks purpose, revenge, and ultimately, to protect the person he loves. The thread that connects all of his dreams is that Guts' humanity remains intact and is unwavering in spite of the odds stacked against him. Throughout the series, the concept of fate versus free will plays a crucial role. The idea that there is a universal law that governs people's decisions, that some things are not brought about by chance. The Behelit is the ultimate example of the inevitable machinations of fate, an item that regardless of spatial separation will always end up in the hands of the person whose desire is great enough to initiate its power. Its activation is not a matter of if, but when. It's not a surprise that such an item is held by Griffith. Guts constantly fights against this idea of predestination, suggesting that he values the struggle for one's desires over a passive acceptance of fate. Conversely, Griffith embraces his fated path, indicating that he believes the inevitability of dreams manifesting, regardless of the cost. Griffith is materialistic and selfish, a man who did not understand that it is not the fulfillment of your dream that gives it value, but the actions you take in pursuit of it. This is why, despite the great cost Griffith pays to achieve his desires, it doesn't hold value, because the foundation of which he achieved his dream was built upon lies and betrayal. Guts' struggle, despite its lack of grandeur, holds value because he remains true to himself, not giving in to the pressure that the cruel world he lives in applies to him, refusing to leave others behind, even if they may slow down his progress or make things more difficult. His struggle and his dream of freedom for himself and the people closest to him is valuable because he is determined to achieve it, but not willing to lose himself in his own desire. His dream is untainted. The beast of darkness that lays within him represents his innermost conflict to give up everything and to give in to his more twisted desires. But unlike Griffith, who is subservient to the demonic influence on his life, Guts actively resists and fights against it. So what is the value of a dream? In the world of Berserk, dreams serve as both a driving force and a cautionary tale. Griffith's journey reveals the peril of allowing your ambition to eclipse your humanity, where the pursuit of dreams can lead to moral degradation and the sacrifice of those we claim to cherish. His transformation into Femto exemplifies the ultimate corruption of ambition, where dreams, if pursued without ethical consideration, can lead to profound destruction and loss of self. Conversely, Guts embodies the resilience of the human spirit, illustrating that the value of dreams lies not in their attainment, but in the journey itself. His struggle against fate and his determination to carve his own path highlight that fulfillment comes from staying true to oneself and one's values, regardless of the odds. Guts' dream, grounded in personal freedom and loyalty to others, becomes a testament to the idea that our aspirations must coexist with our humanity. Ultimately, Berserk invites us to reflect on the nature of our dreams and the costs we are willing to bear in their pursuit. It challenges us to consider what makes our dreams worthy. Is it the destination, or the integrity of the journey we take to reach it? In this exploration of ambition and sacrifice, Berserk serves as a potent reminder that our dreams should uplift us and those around us, rather than lead us and others down a path of destruction. That our dreams are a reflection of the resilience of our humanity, and our willingness to fight against the odds. Thank you for watching.
You're going to be all right. You just stumbled over a stone in the road. It means nothing. Your goal lies far beyond this, doesn't it? I'm sure you'll overcome this. You'll walk again. Soon.